fabulous Mars Day. Really? Yeah, what's Mars up to right about now? I know we're in that Aries energy. Can I get a witness? Hell yeah. What's up, everybody? I am the hostess with the mostest, the High Priestess Phoenix. I am your spiritual healer, teacher, shaman, seer, oracle, lightworker, starseed, earth angel, mystic, medium, psychic, witch. This is about that time where I get the download and I'm just staring at everything and I haven't got it yet. Okay, Metatron it is. There it goes. I am your messenger of God, the first child. Oh, the new ones. Okay. Okay. Um, okay. And okay. Something old, something new. Okay. Don't be sad and don't be blue. I am your messenger of God, the first child of God, the Lilith reincarnated. In order to keep up with me, I had to post my community page, my latest live video, anything in my shorts. I just posted my community page a whole bunch of funny memes about, fuck dating, and I'm not the one to come to. Really? Yeah, you don't come to Lilith for fucking love advice. You go to Lilith when your heart is broken. Really? We are the Build a Bitch company. Realistically, oh, we build bad bitches every day. Get over that motherfucking loser real quick. Really practice what you preach. That's what we do over here. But I do know a guy that makes a living out of love readings. He's kind of expensive, but apparently he's pretty good at it. Realistically, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I need a reading. Maybe I need to pay, see if he can help me. Right now, he's offering a sweepstakes where he will take you down to the best parts of fucking Argentina and, put you through some kind of spiritual training and whoop whoop and change your life forever. Really? Yeah. I feel like a week with that guy could do that to you. It might change your perspective just a little bit. Really? Well, seeing as he's changed my world so immensely, all praise the wolf man, huh? Hey. Oh, you're being kind today. Only kindly. Only a little kind. Hey. All right, so I posted a bunch of cool stuff. I got super blessed. Dude, first thing in the morning, I got all ready and I was like it was like the car wouldn't start. Who, my car? No, the fucking vehicle I rode in on, my fucking fleshly body. Realistically, they said that energy wasn't going to come till tomorrow. But I'm telling you, bro, I was like, what was the word? Lethargic? It was a lot. But I got going and I was so glad I went. Really? Yeah, I had these goofy appointments. And then it just got better and better and better. Really? It really did. And that was in the cards. And I don't mean to be like, oh, look at me, but it's look at God, bro. Look at God. Really? Because the whole point is so you could start to learn to trust him. Oh, yeah, and I posted that. Steve's Love Tarot shared this video about Venus going into, I actually don't know where it's going. To hell with the rest of us, I suppose. I think he said Gemini, which was all talkative and shit. We probably read it too. We really did in the beginning, and that's why they were like, refer back to the beginning of this book. It told us about all the. We read it, and I taught you about quarters, and oh man, here it goes right now. Really, it's got all these dates and learning about it and shit. So there was the Mercury retrograde. Hold on, he was talking about Pluto. Hold on. Yeah, we learned all this weird shit in the beginning. Really? Did you remember? Nah. I barely learned that the fucking Princess of Swords is a stalker. Stalker. That's the obsessive card. Watch me pull that bitch. That fucking bitch. Really? Neptune, Pluto transit. A Pluto transit is off. No, I think we were talking about Venus, right? Venus is transiting. And he kept saying Uranus. How do you say Uranus? Why do we say... See, she says it too. Uranus. Oh, she killed me, bro. As soon as I came in, I collapsed. I was like, how you doing? She's like, I'm playing a game with somebody that speaks Spanish, and my Google Translate, I think, is failing me. I was like, yeah, what did it say? It said something about, am I in love with him? I was like, what? I'll read it. You already sound like you're speaking Spanish. Arriba, arriba.
This is what the translator tells me. You fell in love with me, right? Like, do you understand the expression? He's like, well, you fell in love with me. I mean, how you like me. What? And he's like, I like you. I fell in love. What? I just met this guy 2 seconds ago.
Maybe he was like, do you love me? And that's what you got back.
I don't know. It's because it translates automatically, so I don't know if it's right or not.
I think love is not a word you should be playing on the internet.
And I can't say the word love back, so I'm like...
Then tell him another word. Pick another word out of the vocabulary. Really? Yeah, I was like stranger danger, bro. Stranger danger. Meanwhile, I'm inviting the world to come to my little spiritual function. Oh yeah, he was talking about the stupid Venus thing. And he was like, yeah, they realize their life sucks and they want to live a life with you because your life is exciting. You mean living on the edge? Almost like jumping off the edge every Friday night into the abyss called our childhood trauma and doing reconstruction of the brain? You want to come live on that edge with me? Hmm. Opportunist is what I heard. Really, in the most negative way. You could listen to the video. And they're like, they're going to come pour all their shadows out on me. I was like, that wasn't supposed to come until May 6th when Pluto retrogrades. I think this Pluto retrograde is going to be much worse than a fucking Mercury. Really? Oh man, I don't know. That's why I'm trying to look it up in this book. Really? We should have paid attention. Here, Aries. And everything is in Aries. And no, now we're in Taurus season. It's a feminine energy, feelings, fixed earth. Taurus is a fixed earth sign, has endless patience that turns your Taurus planet into your solid force to be reckoned with. Oh, pull out your fucking natal charts. Hold on a second. Apologies. I just noticed that when I looked down at the screen, you didn't have anything to look at. So I just dropped the guidebook. I'm just going to give you a card. I'm going to pick a card, any card out of this deck. They all look the same. They're called the Goddess Oracles. Ooh, oh, we'll leave it like that until we turn it around and find out what it is. We have a message from the goddesses. Really? Yeah, these are brand new oracles. We're going to read the intro and get through it, maybe on the outro. Let's see. Their reputation for stubbornness is earned. They're responsible, reliable, honest as they come, practical, and endowed with a stick-to-it attitude. Other planets envy. They envy. I get that, bro. There was something. Who's my Taurus? Brian. Brian. I'd be running at Brian, and Brian just stands still. And yeah. Realistically, he's taught me a thing or two. Because there was a couple of things where I riled up, and he's like he stood still in his belief, and it was like a stick to attitude. Very practical, honest, reliable, responsible. Yeah, where he was coming from was a way of life rather than me that takes on life. It's just no, I just stick to this code. And what was it? Some bullshit. I think I pulled him into some bullshit, and he's like, and even in the beginning, it was about Kanye. I was like, he's like, I don't know, I don't really know how I feel about Kanye, albeit, I understand that. It's not the easiest pill to swallow. Do you take medication? No. Realistically, are you going to take the blue one or the red one? We all know what the boys are taking. Just kidding. Moving on. Anyways, they're ruled by Venus, and it's not surprising to find out that people are sensual and luxury loving too. Yeah, he's kind of, I don't know. I was gonna say sexy. That just came to mind. But like, yeah, flossy, I suppose. But not like that, bro. Not like these guys, like extra, extra on the juice. Like, can I get like put honey all over it? You guys are so sugar coated. Really? He's just sweet. You guys are like, diabetes. They love to be spoiled with the best. Oh, well, yeah. Good food, wine, or even a Renoir painting. Really? Oh, okay. You fancy. You fancy, huh? You fancy all that shit, huh? Okay, moving on. Anyways, he said some shit like that, and he was like, they want to leave their boring, mundane world and come live a world, or come into your world. Hey, here's Pluto, the head department of death, destruction, and decay. Who's that? You could know it as a fucking Scorpio and just move on with your life. Realistically, yes. I studied this. I studied this like a couple chapters ago, and this is no good. No good? No good. When they said retrograde, that means, what's your Pluto? I don't know. It's probably something terrible. Really? We're going to go. And they're like, if you heard my reading last night, they're like, this is a great time to dive into your shadow work, to pull out some cards and meet your shadow. Hey, bro, my shadow terrorizes me any day of the week. And you're talking about a whole fucking, a hot girl summer right here. Like, what? I guess it's going to be intense for those of you that haven't met your shadow. And that's probably why I did so much shadow work preparing for this. So it didn't kill me like it kills the rest of you. And I could coach you through it. Really? Call me your midwife. You're about to birth. What's mine? Libra. Okay. Balance. Balance. All right. We can do this. Really? All right. So listen to this department. I call it, it's the fucking Death Star, bro. Really? Here comes Scorpio. Do you know a Scorpio? Do you have a Scorpio in your life? Oh, okay. I have one. Actually, I know two, but that one got kicked to the curb. Really? Yeah. What's your name? Todd, Jim, John. Fucking, what is this fucking name? Steve. Mike Stud. I can't believe you. He's like, I have two sold out. I was thinking about that last night. Why? Because how did you do it? The fucking calendar for Red Rocks is made like today for next year. Really? Oh, they released that thing for like it's already blocked and cocked. Like fucking loaded, bro. They like, how did you do that? No wonder you were celebrating the success of getting a second night, because you can't. I mean, but everybody knows like you should. If you've got that kind of following, they all do 2 night shows. Really? Some do 3. Really? Yep. Moving on. He's a Scorpio, and you know, ever since I met him, his life, well, when I met him, his life was all destructed. I didn't do it. I have nothing to do with it, dude. It's the karma. All right. I'm here to tell you to change from your ways. I'm like the one cock blockage of karma. It hits me first. Realistically, yes. I am the moon, and that protects you from all the planets. And speaking of which, that's why I get so sick, dude. I can't stand it. Too much sun on the moon will fry the moon. It's like they're opposite forces. Realistically, I'm serious. I'm gonna have to start moving to the southern hemisphere when the fucking summer comes around. I can't do this. I can't do it. It's too hot. Really, today was a hot girl. Moving on to this fucking planet. He's in charge of things that have to happen. This is force. And he disposes of situations that have gone past the point of no return. Pretty much, he's what? Me? Really? I talked about that this morning. I shared that. My freaking bracelet broke. Really? But people don't get it, dude. People don't see the beauty and destruction like I do. And that's the Cali. This is a monumental moment. Why? Because first off, I just discovered my brand new bra size, which is very empowering, as a triple D, bitch. And a fucking 30. I could be wearing a 34, but I wanted room to grow. Really? So I'm trying on this brand new empowering bra, and it falls off and it breaks. Did it get caught? I don't know. I have no idea. I was strapping it from the front, so I didn't see it, but I would look down, and I'm having this extremely empowering experience right now because I'm putting back on the suits of armor. Realistically, yes. If you ever saw me before I became this spiritual, you know what I mean, tie-dyed freak, the witch on the streets, before that, you would always see, and people always said that, it's like, you look like a fucking lawyer, you look like a librarian, you look like a fucking teacher, you know. So I go into this place called Dress for Success, where they get you dressed up for, you know, interviews and get you on, you know, track for working. And so I start putting on the suits, bro. I start putting on the suits again, right? It's like the Iron Man shit. And I'm like, oh, this is all empowering. And the girls are going crazy because I told them how I lost all this weight. And now I'm really like, and I'm just sitting in front of the mirror like, oh my God. And they're like, can we take pictures for our donors? And I'm like, yeah. And it was just so fun. It became like this girls' day, dude. And the women were so empowering and they loved it. And it was just such a fun experience. Realistically, yeah. And my bracelet broke. And I have a whole bag, pretty much a whole jewelry box full of amulets that have come off along the way. Really? Well, the black one came with the white one. And the white one was all, and then there was one in it that had all of the rainbow colors. The other ones was another one that happened on Christmas. That one broke, which was all the evil eyes. I had this one that ran around it. All of them. It's all a story of when I had broken through. That's how I know that I've broken through to a new timeline, perhaps is the best way to say it. So while I'm there, they're actually allowed, you're allowed to get a couple of extras too. And I'm allowed to shop it myself. And I am being called to the Native American, to the turquoise. And I'm like, whoa, realistically? Yeah. And I have it up there and I'm hanging at the altar, and I got a couple of necklaces. It was really strange though. I got there and I looked down and I'm like, I don't have any of my necklaces on. And I didn't know why I didn't. That never happens. I never leave my house without my necklaces. But it was this moment, and I feel like I can take them off and I'm being replaced with something else. Really? And as far as the Native American, I finished watching that story, the movie about Sitting Bull, and it was so surreal because I literally have footage of getting visual downloads of a lot of those stories and telling people the stories when I was in fucking Bay City, Wisconsin. I was on the tip of fucking Wisconsin and Minnesota, right? And that's where I told the story about the treaty being broke and all of this shit happening. I literally, it's crazy because I've always seen time play out, but back then I didn't know what I was seeing. You know what I mean? Seeing behind the veil, watching time. I did talk about how I watched the Mississippi River evolve, the timeline of the Mississippi. But when I went back to that story and the Lakota, because that's what it was when I had my initiation up at the Arapaho National Forest. I call it the Holy Lands. When I came down from there, I was panicked and I got off the phone with my kids, and the Holy Spirits are all like, yeah, yeah. And I'm like, what's in my back, my back, my back? And they're telling me that I got my wings back, right? And I don't really understand that, and that's in the video. And I'm like, and my feet are killing me, and they're like, you're a Blackfoot, you're a Blackfoot, you're a Blackfoot. I didn't understand it, but I knew it was about the Lakota. And there's these sacred rites and rituals that I was called to do along the way, but it always came back to the Native Americans. They started it. And then I went back to thinking about all the stuff that happened in Oklahoma. I was, you know what I mean, with the Choctaws, but it wasn't just the Choctaws. I got pulled all the way, dude. I'm supposed to take one highway from Hugo, Oklahoma, all the way up. It goes literally all the way through all these states, and it goes straight up to where I'm going. I can't even think right now. But all of a sudden something happens and I get pulled off and I'm in the Cheyenne reservation. I've always been pulled to the reservations. Really? Always. In all of time, I've always been on the reservations. So then you think about what happened with the Kuchan. I was guided all the way to Arizona with no full understanding until I got there. And the Kuchan, um, their annual um, their annual get together where they bring in all the tribes and they do their rituals for 3 days. And I was guided there during that time to participate with my own ritual acts in in the actual setting. I have pictures of it. So as far as being, it's funny because I took off one covering to put on another. Realistically, yeah. So we talked about I was going to start working with the shamans and the druids. So to Native American, those are the Native American shamans and druids. Those were the and in art and most culture now it's the females. They're called priestess in this. Realistically, yeah. I saw this coming a couple days ago. So that's really intriguing to me. Really, a lot happened today, and it was all in the cards. It's crazy. Really? Oh yeah, going back to Pluto. Where did I put that bullshit? I'm trying to protect you and prepare you. When does this happen? In May 6th until October some shit, bro. As soon as I got wind of it, I tried to tell you, and I can only tell you until it happens, and then here you are. And now I'm gonna have to guide you through it, and that's what I do with this. I read it, and then we go back, and then we go back, and we're like, oh, it was real. Yeah, all of it is, and that's what the point of this is to realize everything's extremely predictable based on those stupid planets and what they're doing outside. Their outside movement moves us inside. Really. All right, so let's see. He also oversees sex, reincarnation, recycling, regeneration, and rejuvenation. Pluto spots in your chart a place where intense inevitable circumstances will arrive to teach you about agony and ecstasy. Sounds like my Scorpio, right? Danger. Danger. It's mystical again. Get on the floor. I shared that song. Why are we still singing it? Usually if I share the song, they go away. Really? I don't know. Pluto's place in your chart is where, maybe that's the song to Pluto, right? We're now entering Pluto. Here's this frequency of Pluto. Pluto's place in your chart is where you will be in a state of turmoil and evolution. There will be an ongoing change. with what? Balance? I don't know. Maybe I need to dive deeper into a Libra. Just kidding. I need some Libra and some Libra protection. Never mind. Don't say that out loud. So I told you it's a dirty planet. Really? It is the side of you that will reflect your losses your losses down the road and try to make some sense of them. Most importantly, since Pluto rules life, death, and rebirth, I told you it's like basically me. There's where you will understand the importance of the process. You'll be amazingly strong when your Pluto is. He's a well of concentrated transforming energy. In the body, Pluto is associated with the reproductive organs. And that's why you guys, I told you, I posted that about Ali. Ali, that was the lamest shit I ever saw. He said, and you need to shave your vagina, bro. Your face hair, your beard, what are you? You look like a fucking 50-year-old, 60-year-old man with that. Shave your vagina. You're not taking care of your face. You're not taking care of your insides. So how can I expect that you're taking care of your outsides? Because the care for your outsides comes from the care from your insides. Self-care starts inside. And it reminds you to care for your outside world. I posted that. I was like, dude, you guys want to be happy, but it took me 3 years of, psychological repair and reprogramming to have the discipline to keep my mind on only God, and that gives me peace. You think happiness is just the joy that I have along the ride, but that's not what this is. Realistically, yeah, you're not doing all the work that it takes. And going back to reproductive organs, your limp dicks, what is that? It's a lack of expression. It can easily be fixed. Really? Yeah. I mean, it's hard to it's awful to say, but on a surface level, it doesn't take much to turn you on, but it takes more to keep you on. Really? It takes a lot more to put you on. And that's where it is. It's not about pleasing. It's about you having passion in your life and not just for women or things. Really? Anyways, he rules over, where is that? In charge of puberty and sexual maturity. He responds with plutonium. He's got his own juice, his own minerals. There's something you need in your water, guys. Plutonium. Sounds like a poison. Really, it probably is. It was probably in some well somewhere that poisoned the town. He's let's see. He's associated with your reproductive organs since he is where the invisible process of life and death begins. And that's what I told Ali. What happened? Ali posted, tell me about some shit. Oh, God. Tell me about the words you wish you could have said to the person that doesn't talk to you anymore. Some bullshit like that. He's like, maybe I'll make a song out of it. So he took everybody's comments and he sung them on a beat. I was like, bro, you have no creativity. None. You couldn't even come up with an idea. You couldn't even come up with nothing, bro. You needed somebody to feed you, to feed your loins. Really? Well, we've known that for a long time. He hasn't put out anything. Really? He's not in a good place. And Russ, he just don't think Russ is very creative at all. He's stealing every idea he can from me, and he's looking for every fucking elevator song he can find to put it on. Realistically, yeah. Your creative works. They don't really work. Really, I'm just saying. Pluto is messing with your genitals. Your generals. Prepare for total annihilation, transformation and rebirth. Really? That's what the card said. That's not really where I was going with this, but that was more fun than what I was going to talk about. Well, moving on. What's behind? No, I'm not going to do that right now. Why? Because the guidebook's on the floor and I just crossed my legs. I'm going to stay on my high chair and we're going to go to Metatron. Who's he? I already talked to him. We've been teaching you forever about Metatron. He was Enoch. He is Archangel Metatron. He ascended in the flesh to the heavenly place. Really? I don't think it was that, bro. You want all truth and honesty? Like myself, I think he was just guided back home and he took the flesh with him. Realistically, you don't have a full remembrance. You ask a lot of questions, you're given the answers, you tell everyone, and you ascend. Us ascending masters have always took our body with us. We take the body with us. Realistically, yes, to our home. That's where we came from. Realistically, I'm just saying, whatever. This is where you should be. Really, review and reflection. Time out needed. You need a timeout. God said you're on a timeout. Really? Yes. Take time out to do what? Oh man, look at this whole thing. Hey, we can read these. Look, it says Earth Star Chakra to anchor the point of Mother Earth, security, and taking steps forward. Your base chakra, survival, relationships, money, health, and safety. Really? Yeah, that's your base is your root, your sacral. Listen. Remember, I was like, that's not your solar plexus. They kept saying your solar plexus was beneath your belly button. I was like, that's not, you're like, touch my solar plexus. That's not your solar plexus, bro. Yeah, your sacral. You could get some sacral juice, some sacral, but it might just get you all fucking turned on. I don't know what it'll do for you. Really, I only use it during periods, to be honest. Really, I need sacral healing. That's where my organs are. Um, Sacral chakra, dude. I've been working on that for like fuck. Well, still, I'm not done. Really, still need to clean out the pipes. This is a dead joke. Really, sacral chakra is where you keep some of your worst shit because you shove it down as far as you can, and then it leaps, it sinks into your root, which is your reality. Really, that's where your mommy and daddy's any sexual issues. That's Sheila Nagig. Is Sheila Nagig behind this card? I'm afraid to see. No, it's Shakti, your energy. But there's an example. You know what I mean? So here's your root chakra. Right, whatever, opening, whatever. But this is where all the magic happens. And that is below your belly button. And they were supposed to, I think they meant to say above your belly button. I was like, no, it's in your ribs. Really? Yeah, I know there's a picture right there, and all of them have that. And I like that it's traditional to what we really are. Yeah? The Shakti is your energy flow. So again, this is your sacral chakra. This is where all your creativity, that's where your baby making juice comes from. Really? Well, if you're wasting your creativity on not making babies and just putting juice on people, you know, I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. Realistically, I mean, I am celibate. I talk a lot of shit, but I'm celibate with the one exception of, a full moon last year, and then there was a blowjob in the January of that year, and then nothing for 2 years before that, and nothing for 5 years before that. I practice celibacy. Why? Because I don't believe in being touched without love. Really? Yeah. Moving on. So that's your solar plexus, and that's your sacral. So that's creativity, sexuality, and fertility. Your solar plexus is your power, wisdom, confidence, will, and ego. And that's that bad bitch juice. I have that. I needed that in the beginning because I lost my sense of self. When I sacrificed all my material wealth, I had lost my sense of self, and I felt very insecure about who I was and what I was, because I wasn't what I was. I didn't know what I was or what I was becoming. Really, that's a good one to have. I call it the bad bitch juice. It makes you feel a little bit egotistical, a little bit high and mighty. Really, it's your sun. It's how you feel about yourself. It's a good one. I mean, I'm not going to say I didn't use it. Really, the heart chakra I use all the time, and that's just the opening. It hurts. Really, it hurts. Your heart hurts. So you use an oil to calm it. Really, and to keep it open, because when it hurts too bad, you just shut down. It hurts, and you don't want to talk to anyone, and you don't want to open up, and you don't want to, opening your heart and letting the pain out hurts, and you're trying to keep the flow, which is not a good thing. Nobody tells you that. It's like, well, you're going to hurt for you're going to suffer, but you're going to enjoy it. The more that you pour out, it's a detox, and it's painful. It's like a full-on heart surgery that we do all week, we constantly do. And it's pouring out as much as you think that you've gotten all the pain out, you've said everything you could, there's nothing else hurts. And then you're triggered all over again, and it all hurts again. And you have to know this process of pouring your heart out, because if not, it sours your entire system, bro. With a hardened heart is, that's what I was explaining to these women. I was like, I teach the Christ consciousness. For some reason, it's literally impossible for people to be kind, forgiving, understanding. What was it? I'm just going blank. I'm seeing something. Hold on. What are you seeing? I think it's like the nativity scene. Really, it's definitely the deserts of like Egypt or whatever, and then there's like, I guess, three men on camels riding across a night sky. Why are you seeing that? I don't know. What was I saying? What were we talking about? It interrupted my talking. What were we talking about? Energy? I don't know. Let me go back to where I was and then I can figure out how I got there. We're talking about the solar plexus. We're talking about, oh, your heart. That's an interesting way to describe the journey. Um, you're just going deeper and deeper into it. And then when you dig all of this out, it's like the water flows. You know what I mean? You feel, and that's what I said. I had worked with a couple people where they had done, gone through a tower. Like I got bees on camera. And, you know, when you go through it, it's really intense. But if you have someone, you know, to walk you through it, and you come out of it, you come out so empowered. And that's exactly where it's going to hit you, is your solar plexus. You're going to feel like $1,000,000, dude. You feel so much better because this thing isn't holding down your soul anymore. You've literally let it go and you feel free again. Really? And so you're constantly doing these healing sessions to free yourself more and more. You think that you're all free, but I promise you I can bring up a subject and here goes a whole nother fucking 6 month session. It's a good thing I don't charge for this shit, right? Huh. Okay then. Moving on. Why should it charge for you to be a nice person? You know what I mean? Going back to Jesus, he wants you to exhibit I mean, you know, you'll inherit the gifts of the spirit, but he wants you to exhibit the four fundamental food groups, which is kindness, understanding, forgiveness, and compassion. And that's impossible. You have a difficulty being kind to all types of people. You're not compassionate to all types of people. You're not forgiving for all things. And it's all because you choose not to have any understanding. Really? Mhm. You lack the understanding it takes. You can't have compassion for something you don't know exists. Really? Mhm. And that's why it's important for people to speak. Stop keeping all the secrets of pain and suffering. When people start understanding more, you know, giving people understanding is freeing yourself, but also freeing other people from their persecution of their one-track mind that just didn't know any better. You expect people to know what you're going through, but they don't because you won't tell them. You expect people to read your non you know what I mean, your nonverbal communications, your subtle hints, and you get mad because they don't tend to you. You know that you're reaching for some kind of, you know what I mean, nurturing and healing or attention or just love at that moment, but you're not being honest and true about any of this. You're not looking at your partner and saying, "I'm hurting inside and I just need you to fucking hold me so bad." Really? You're not telling him what you're hurting about. You're not, and that goes back to, as I'm saying this, I said your partner because it's like, you men, your mind is wound up like crazy and you're just suffocating every terrible thought, every one of your fucking mistakes, every one of your regrets, every one of, you know, your shortcomings or anything you ever did that was foul or below the belt. All this shit you're just keeping to yourself. And it's just sitting in there fucking up your whole fucking vibe. You can be there. And I know this because you know, my ex-husband was one of those where it would just kind of, he couldn't control the shit. Really? No, but he would try. And it was like he was a prisoner of his own mind because he had all these repressed memories and trauma and thoughts and just, you know, regrets and just bad memories of, you know, fuck, I wish I didn't do that type shit. And they would just replay in his head and you could almost see it on his face. Like, you know, you could see him going through the channels of memories and it actually literally, you know, crushing him. And then somebody come in, hey, how you doing? I'm fine. It's like you're a fucking liar to the fucking universe right now. Like I'm watching you have a mental breakdown internally. Really? Well, I can read all of that now, and that's what it was too. Is, you know, growing up in trauma, you learn to read subtle clues so that you can protect yourself from unforeseen outbursts and shit like that. You're always trying to protect yourself from the next big outburst, the next, you know, traumatic event that's about to occur. Really, in some sense, you're looking for a signal. You're always looking for signals. Really? Yeah. So I can't even say it's psychic. I had a lot of those abilities before the awakening really came. But I also had a very extreme, strong case of discernment. Really? Mm-hmm. As far as just being, careless, that's just careless. So let's go back to your chakras here. Your solar plexus is power, wisdom, confidence, will, and ego. Your heart chakra is your love and your relationships. Because you guys are in a place where you have to connect, relationships is a huge thing. And that's where it is. As Lilith, this wasn't a problem for me. As I don't have a problem with a heart chakra until I have to go connect with people. Then I have to use my heart, and my heart is blocked from all the things that have happened to it. If I just stay to myself, this isn't a problem for me. I keep my fucking heart to myself, and I don't give it out. I don't give you no love. You get no love, and that's it. But in the process of trying to love people, you get you remember all the people you loved before and how terrible that was. You repeat those same stupid patterns because that's the way of your unhealthy behaviors of loving. But you got to go through all of this to reprogram yourself. And that's what I said. You don't come to Lilith for love advice. I'm writing the book as I go. Realistically, I mean, I did not consent to love. I'm great for lust. I'm great for a bust. Like, seriously, they call me the succubus for a reason. Seriously, yeah. And that's it. And this is where it's like, putting it on. But in my later lives, that's all I was a mothering figure to, a loving figure, fertility goddess, and all that great shit. Really, I am the absolute emblem of love, compassion, and unity. Realistically. And that's where you don't understand. How does Lilith sit in the light? Because I am light. I'm just in the dark with you guys. Really? There's layers to your being there, people. You have to tap into your better layers. And that's it. It's like Marshall is not just dark. He taps into a dark side to become Eminem. Really? Yes. But what does he tap into? His shadows. Really? Yeah, which is his hurts and his suffering. And he becomes creative in that shit. Why? Because he's not busting nuts on girls. He's busting them on paper. This isn't hard. This isn't hard science to know where creativity comes from. Really? You guys are blowing it, bro. You're blowing it. You're blowing it, dude. It's like, are you blowing it or I'm blowing it? I don't know, dude, but I'm taking it. That's where it is. I've come for your babies. Realistically, it's the stuff. It is the stuff that babies made of, but it's God's life-giving force. Realistically, you're blowing it, and you're in the bathroom on some towel or some girl. You're blowing it. It's the ability to make babies, people. Creations. I'm going back to Da Vinci. Was he blowing his loads or he was literally creating? You think about Bob Ross. Was he blowing? Was he? I have such a dirty mind. Never mind. I don't even. Really? No, guys. You're in your creative space by yourself and your feelings. And that's where it is. It's like, Allie, you ain't got no feelings. Oh, you're just feeling sad again. And that's what I told him. I was like, you're writing songs to a ghost that's not listening to you. That would be that 6 of fucking cups we pulled yesterday, and that fucking 3 of swords. Fucking talking to the past. Here goes fucking Bruno. Talking to the moon. Stop crying in your beer, fuckers. That's what I mean. That's why you guys are falling off, bro. The new generation is a vibrant generation of hopes and dreams. You guys are crushing them with your fucking childhood traumas and struggles. You want to talk about the struggle, bro. You want to talk about the ghetto life. You want to talk about, shit that doesn't matter to the new generation. You're stuck in your unhealed ways. Really? I mean, do you still wear white fucking pants to go with that fucking 80s attitude? I know you still have your college sweatshirt, but Jesus Christ. Pluto's coming in to take all that away from you. Really? He's going to piss you off. Really? Oh, man. I just want to point out, Pluto wasn't always in the picture. God added more planets because you guys weren't acting appropriately. Really? Well, there was the original 6, and he had to bring in more. Yeah? And then, yeah. Do you know how a planet is made? All right, I'm not getting into all of this. Really, there's too much for you. Let's move on to your throat chakra, your communication and expression. That goes back to it. That'll cause all your back pains, bro. That run from your neck to your shoulders, down your arms, all that shit underneath your arms. Yep, that's what causes, those man boobs that you guys are running around with. I'm trying so hard not to go too X-rated because my window's open, bro. But I swear I could milk you right now, bro. A big cup of it, bro. Vitamin D. You can milk a cat. You can milk anything with nipples. Come on, fuckers. Let's move on. What's that? That's the creativity that's still flowing through me on my moon cycle. Oh, I've got to keep going. I'm going to die. Okay, moving on. Then you have your Atla major chakra. Where the fuck is that? Maybe, nope, it's not. I was going to say maybe it's my Palladian chakra. Nope, we're going further than the throat. Where's this one? Connection, universal conscious, divine inspiration. I believe that we know this one as the stellar chakra. Really? Yeah. No, the soul star chakra. No, here's the stellar. What is that one called? Don't make me pull out all the books. They have a new name for this one. Altar major chakra, connected, universal consciousness, and divine aspiration. Well, you're already missing, the seven. Throw in an eighth, nine, 10 of them you don't have. You got your third eye, which is your intuition, your vision, and your wider perspective. Why can't you see visions like me? Because you're clouded by your thoughts. You're always thinking. You have to clear the thoughts, dude. How do you clear the thoughts? You work through them. You literally speak them out and they go away. How are you going to get them out if you don't speak them out? What's the way out? Do you stick it? You stick your nose in and pull them out? Like, what is this? This is where the lobotomy came from? You just have to talk. But it's hard. There's an inner child of you that can see it, but you can't say it. You have to say it. Really? Or write it down. Draw a picture. Really? Yeah, you're an inner child that can't tell people what's going on in your brain. But if you don't get it out, it just keeps repeating itself. Seriously? Mm-hmm. And that's what I do all day is we clear that shit out. Have to have clear mind. Really? Mm-hmm. Can't be all foggy with all kinds of fucking shit. So moving on. Then you got your third eye, your crown chakra, connection and opening. Everyone has one. It's the top of your head. It's that soft spot when babies are born. Really? That's exactly where it's located. It may have closed, but that's where the information comes. Then you have your soul star chakra. That we know to be, it's like a foot above your head. Really? You can only access that through your aura. And then your stellar gateway chakra, that's through your etherical body. What's your etherical body? You have layers to your being, people. Never going to get through this. Okay, moving on. What is that? Well, you have your mental body. You have your emotional body, right? That live within your physical body. So then you also have your physical body. Inside of your physical body, you also have your there's another word for it. I don't know what it is, but the electrical body, there's another word for it. It's a medicine type word, right? Then you have your etherical body, and then you have your astral body, and then you have your angelic body, and then you have your light body. Really? Yeah. And that's how you work through the energies. So astral traveling is, so your aura is sending it out, like is sending out good vibes, right? Your aura is what gives off of your body. Mine has a 3-mile radius. Since the beginning I woke up, I've always told everyone I have a 3-mile radius of my aura, my auric field, realistically. And that's why I got to spend so much time cleaning it. But at the same time, why people around me are in this, while it's a conscious vibe within 3 miles of wherever I go, right? And so I have to do so much time cleaning it, but I also can project it, at least that's without projection. Really? Yeah. And then I can go further with it, which is what? Tapping into my astral body. So I can send out like, vibrations like a sonar. That would be through the auric body, etherical body. But the astral body is where you're outside of the vibration of the body. Really? Yeah. The angelic body is a totally different body from a different being of, I don't know if you have an angelic form. I had to stop right there. I don't know if you're part of the divine with an angelic form. I'm not sure if all beings have an angelic form. Really? Because it's one of the primary forms. You could have been like a Lumerian or a Palladian or an Andromedan, or what does that mean? You could have in another life prior to this incarnation been a being from another planet. But as far as an angelic being, I don't know if you were dated back. Um, if you think about it, though, the whole incarnation was the fallen. Everyone that took life was already a being before they took the human form. We were already something before we became human. Your first life wasn't human form. You weren't a humanoid. No? Uh-uh. So going back to myself, Lilith and Adam, right? Genesis chapter 1, 26 through 27. God made made man and woman of the dust, right? The dust, I went into this, I feel like I'm repeating myself. Gosh, damn it. He made the universe, which was all of these planets and their beings and their life forms and everything that ever occupied them. He made all of them, and by the mastery of them, put it into the earth. And from the earth, two bodies were formed, which was myself and Adam, right? And if you know the story, we didn't consummate was the whole fight. I'm not laying with him. It came down to sex, realistically. And that's why I was like, no, I'll tell you how to fuck him and leave him, but I don't stick around. This is the first time I'm doing this. Really, they're putting the fire horse in a stable situation. Realistically, yeah. What are you cooking out there? Oh, they're cooking something. Really? Moving on. So the whole situation is that was just the human form. I was the first one to sign up to be a fucking human. And that's why I'm going to be the first whatever form on that next planet that he just set up. It's not fully, I don't know. They just discovered it here, but it's already been there. Just because you guys just discovered it doesn't mean it hasn't been there forever. And I saw the prediction of it, I don't know, early last summer. I was like, I'm seeing this blue planet, bro. I don't know if it's Uranus. I don't know if it's Neptune, because those are our blue planets. But I'm seeing a blue planet that he's trying to get me to go to. Then later on the summer, there was this, big announcement that they had discovered a smaller planet outside of the moons of Neptune, this big, beautiful planet, a big, blue, beautiful blue planet. So that's my next incarnation is over in that planet. Will I be the first one on it? I'm not sure. I don't think so. Either the first or the last, because that's what he always has. Really? These stupid timelines. Realistically, unless I get a brand new one, and that would make me the first living being on this planet again. And it'll be the same thing. Really? It's always that, dude. Colonization. Really? Fucking God. I told you jokingly, but I meant it seriously. If God had a body, had a form, what part of that body would be you? Because that's what we are, is the body of God. We're part of the body of God, but God has no form. He takes form in all things. That's what the lady asked. She said, one of the ladies was like, oh, I just got introduced. There's a group of new pagans that have joined our church. And the lady's like, what are pagans? And I explained to her, I said, pagan is a religion, anything outside of Christianity. But what we honor is the fact of the Holy Spirit, to be honest. We honor that God came in the form of spirit, just like Jesus said. And he left that spirit, just like Jesus said. And we honor God in the spirit rather than just God in the form of the Son, the Son of God. But there was many children of God, just like Jesus said. They're all children. Realistically, you're a morsel of God. So going back to myself, what am I? I told Russ he was God's foreskin. And I said, if I was a part of God, I would be his genitalia. Why? Because I'm his reproductive organs. Realistically, that's what he said. He made me to birth the new not generation, but civilization, colonization. Realistically, yeah. And that's why it goes back to Gaia. What was Gaia? The mother earth, the all-giving life force. And what was I made of? The all giving life force. Realistically, yeah. So you're just copy pasted, bodies, because that's where it is they had to lay to make more bodies. So then a soul incarnates. A soul takes form in a body, but no remembrance. That's the trick. You have to spend the rest of your life remembering, but once you do, you're back on your track. That's the whole thing. No remembrance. That's that small print. Really? Soul amnesia. You don't get to have any of your memory. You have to start fresh. And that's the blessing in it. Because no matter what you did in your last life, here comes God to give you another one. But you have to pay for it and learn those lessons. Really? You don't get away with it. And that's why we're here and during karmic cleanup. Oh, those were great lives. Here we go now. Pluto's coming to make us pay for our fucking debts. Really? Just move on with it. So your soul star chakra is your auric. Your stellar chakra is where you'll be able to astral project. Stellar means you're part of the stellar gateway and you can move through the planets and through time, and that would be 5D and above. Really, you can't access the stellar gateway until you've moved past, until the 5D. The 4D, yeah, your soul star chakra, that's where you'll access spirit guides, dead people, angels and archangels. Really? Yeah, past that is when you're going to start seeing, actual deities and beings and higher levels of light. Really? Yeah. This is a 12 card spread. It shows it in the beginning, and I was just reading that. Where are we at? We're on card number 2. I always read these at least twice in a row, and then we might shuffle them, we might not. All right, here we go. This is where you're at. You are on the moon. Our subconscious self, our feminine energy, illumination, and reflection. Who am I? Goddess of the moon. What do I teach you? All of that. God is the sun, goddess is the moon. The day you take action, the night you take reflection. Right? And the night you take refuge, and the night you take rest. Really? Yeah, God makes it kind of hard to do that type of shit during the day. All that sun pushing us to, be productive and shit. Really? Yeah. Just as action is required at time in life, so is the need to stand back and review and reflect. Balance comes from learning that both are important and serve each other well. Success comes from not rushing or trying to be first, but in taking time to plan, review, and create strategy to achieve your goals and desires. Going back to what I posted, Steve's Love Tarot was like, they want to come and, take a shot with you. And I posted that. It's like, I don't think you can live like this. First off, it's frowned upon by everybody, and this is living on the fringes of society, but it's living on God, not your own knowing, but what God says. And your whole time, your brain is trying to tell you how to run your day and what you should do to be productive, because it's been programmed to be this way since the moment you were born. They told you how to be successful and what to go out and get, and that go-getter attitude is literally, it's the death of you. Realistically, yeah. So in this sense, it's like, going with the flow. People don't understand that. They're going with the fucking plan is what they're doing. They're not going with no fucking flow. They're going with the plan. Seriously? Yeah. You're at a time, for example, when there's nothing happening, they fill it with something instead of time to reflect. That wasn't planned. That's not going with the flow. It's that you couldn't stay still, so you had to create your own flow. Realistically, yeah. When the waters move, you move with the waters. But when the waters are still, you reflect on them. How are you supposed to go with the flow when there's no flow? You're creating waves, bro. That's what it is. There's many times that you're supposed to just chill. Yesterday, dude, I couldn't even do anything else but chill. They said tomorrow is going to be another one of those days, but I don't know if it hit me first and I can move on with my fucking day. But they said that too many things, you're going to burn out and you'll be feeling fucking lethargic. Really? I didn't do too much today. I did a lot, but not too much. I was pretty going. I was pumped up on some shit. But tomorrow, what do I got to do? Really nothing. I have to clean my car, which is such a monstrous bullshit act. Really, I'm kind of a neat freak, so I really need to get in there and freak out on it. And I need to go get glasses, bro. I haven't upgraded my prescription through this whole thing. And I really have to. And I've been holding off on it because it is not a cheap thing. Really, that's what I've been saving all my money for. It's something that I have to keep on my face regularly. My other glasses, they're my Versace's. I don't put much money into other things, but something like that I use every day. So, that's where I'm gonna kind of splurge. So I've been putting that off. I need to go get me some new glasses. Realistically, I really need to figure this out though if I actually need some reading glasses or I could just get some cheap ones to do that while I'm sitting here. But I need to be wearing glasses like most of the time. Really. So, and it was funny, I was putting it off and I was putting it off and I thought about calling today. I was like, that's too much. And I swear to you, I got a text message that says you're overdue for an eye exam. I was like, I know it. Really? Yeah, I need to take care of that. Like driving or night driving, I can put mine on, but they could be stronger. They could be better. Really? And because I still have my other ones, that's what I want to figure out is if I do need reading glasses, then I'll take my old frames and turn those into the reading glasses that I need and just get some new frames for the new glasses that I need. That's what I'm trying to figure out, but none of this is going to be cheap. I'm like, I'll wear $10 fucking headphones because I'm going to need fucking $100 fucking glasses. Realistically, yeah, it's not cheap. All right, moving on. And that could be that tourist or luxury. It's like there's not many things that I get luxury about, but that's kind of the thing. Realistically, yeah. My purses, no, because I rotate them. My shoes, no, I rotate them. I don't wear the same fucking shoes all the time, so it's not even a big deal. I don't worry about shit like that. But my glasses, I'm putting them on all the fucking time. Realistically, I like to have something nice on my face if I'm gonna fucking wear this all the fucking time. It's just how I feel about it. Moving on. And that's just it. It's like, you don't try to overfill time. You don't try to be over ambitious and try to complete all these tasks, because no matter what you do, the mind is going to come up with new tasks to do tomorrow. It's trying to occupy your time with progress. It's your masculine energy. It likes the feeling of success, and it builds your ego, but it's really just feeding pride and prejudice, because then you're like, well, look at what I did and you didn't do it, and look at me and look at me and look at you. Really, it's not so good. And that's what I said is like, this would get on your nerves to sit around, and that's what I said. I'm like a ain't doing shit bitch. And I was real open to that. When I talked to Bobby's brother, I was very open about that. And that's what I said later this week. I was like, there's something wrong in your guys' manhood, that you need me to be in a secure position to make you feel secure about you. And then there's these men that like these women that are literally helpless and absolutely dependent on them financially, emotionally, you know what I mean? And all other kinds of ways. It gives them a sense of, again, pride. It rebuilds their ego. It makes them important. This person needs me, you know what I mean? And I'm useful, and it gives you purpose and all this shit. But that's very unhealthy. Realistically, yeah, because then you get tied into these attachments where you want freedom but can't, because, now you have a useless dependent that you at first was, it made you feel good, but now it's just holding you down. Realistically, I mean, there's a bunch of us. I had a bunch of those stupid fuck boys myself. Really? I mean, shit. And that's where it is like, could you do that? Could you just stay still when God says stay still? Because that's what he said. He said, be still and be ready. You don't get bored when you're working on yourself, bro. There's nothing, it's exhausting when you're working through your thoughts and your feelings and checking in with yourself. You don't get bored. It's never ending work. It's never ending work to sit there and check in with yourself and ask yourself how you feel and start pouring it out and start dealing with that and where it comes from. You know what I mean? We could start real quick. And that's tea time, baby. Let's sit down and check in. That's what you check in with your boys and your girls, but you don't really check in. You don't really pour it out, or maybe you do, but it's not really being healed. It's just, conversation starters. Really. And that's where you make a blanket out of your failures or your pains, your problems. It's like, yeah, let's get together and talk about, all our problems, because it makes, misery loves company. We're just all miserable, and we're going to get together and talk about how miserable life is. Hey, I don't want to talk about it. Realistically, I want to talk about how we're overcoming it, not how we just keep coming into it. Really? I don't know. The conversation in hell is never that good. Really? Moving on. Success comes from not rushing or trying to be first, but taking time to review, plan, create creative strategy to achieve your goals and desires. You're at a time right now where you are urged to momentarily stop and see how far you have come. The path of the wise one is to know when energy needs to be conserved and when to stop and take a breath, and when it is time to reflect. Take a moment to look back and appreciate the difference between who you were last a year ago and who you are today. It's crazy because I spent a year in that shelter, but I think about where I was, how fragile I was when I first got in there. I had been on the road and all kinds like it. I was living in absolute moment to moment, and it took me weeks before I started to realize they're not going to put me out. I'm okay. Like it's okay. You can. I didn't know if I could bring this stuff out of my car. Like I didn't know if I could fully unpack. I couldn't get comfortable. And that's what I told Ella today. I was like, bro, it took me weeks to get comfortable in my house because as soon as I got into it, the fear of losing it came over me. And I had to just tell myself, trying to calm myself down about all of this. Dude, Ella delivered such great message today. I believed, and that's what she said. I'm not surprised that you misinterpreted it because there was so much information in the beginning and we really didn't go back over it. I was under the impression that I would have to start paying 50% of my rent by the fourth month, and that wasn't right at all. So I put a lot more pressure on myself than that was ever necessary, and that's not necessary at all. Realistically, mm-mm. She said, come the fourth month, it's 30% of whatever your income might be. She's like, so right now, you're on a TANF check. So, and she shows me the number and she's like, this is what it would be if you continued to stay on that check. And it's only for that. And she's like, that'll last until the seventh month and then we'll bump it up to 50%. That changed everything enormously because I was in my head, it's like, May's right, 2 weeks away. I've got all this stuff that I'm trying to do in 2 weeks, but I got to get a job because I have to start paying half my rent in June, is what I kept telling everyone. And I was like, whoa, that's not true at all. Now, going back to what I had said to Bobby's brother, I was like, I just moved into a new place and, I came from hardships and I think I told him the whole thing. I came from a family shelter and I have, my bills are paid for quite some time and I'm just, rebuilding. And that's not something that you should say pridefully. But again, trying to live with me on the outside, it seems cool. But on the inside, it's very difficult to take the judging eyes from the outside that don't understand that you're living according to God's rule in, over your heart. It's a voice they can't hear. It's a way of life they don't understand. It's something they persecute and are constantly questioning. It's cool, like all of you think it's cool, but it's very difficult with all eyes on you and you're going against the traditions of every way of life to make your own way of life. It's not my own, it's his. Really? Yeah. It's I don't know. And that's where I go back to it. It's like where I was a year ago. I sat there for a year being triggered and facing, and that's all he ever did. I swear to God, bro. He told me before I left my house, that first initiation, when all that happened, and I told you I got my wings and my black foot, I was coming down the mountain, and this is all he gave me for the rest of my trip in the beginning. I'm going to put you in places. There's going to be people there, but they're not going to be able to help you. All you're going to have are the clothes on your back, and you're going to have to stay there until the job is done. He told me that when he stranded me up on the Holy Lands and all that terrifying things happened and I got my visions. When I came down, he told me that. That's the way of life. He put me in places and I didn't know why I was there. And all I had were the clothes on my back. And there was always people, but they couldn't help me. And I had to just stay there until God showed me what I was supposed to do next. Everybody's trying to tell me what I'm supposed to be doing. My mind's trying to tell me what I'm supposed to be doing. Everything, you know what I mean? There's rules, there's regulations. If you don't do this, they're going to put you out and you got to be doing this. And everybody's trying to put this way of life on me. And all I'm trying to do is do what God says. So imagine this is where it starts. I leave my apartment and I go to Mr. Plum's. I arrive the next day. We get settled in. You know what I mean? It takes us a day. The next day we're sitting there and he's like, so do you want to maybe go over to the school and get the kids into school, or what do you think you want to do? And I tell him straight up, I'm not here to get a job, Mr. Plum. And I'm not going to put the kids in school because we won't be here that long. I'm just supposed to stay here for a little bit and God's going to show me what to do next. He did not like that answer. And that was just the beginning, the first person I told. And I continue. And that's all it is. It's like, you think I got this planned out? I'm doing everything he tells me to do. Every vision that he puts in my mind, I take care of, and nothing of my own thoughts. And basically, not too much of what other people are saying either. Really? I told Ella about the home healthcare worker that had offered me a possible position, and she went to fucking town. She's like, I know this person, and if that's what you need, if that's what you're interested, we could get you in on that quite quickly. I was like, hold on, Ella. Hold on, bro. And I told her the whole situation and stuff like that. That I'm still, you know what I mean, building up. I told her I'm still trying to build up my spiritual community and utilize this time to establish my online community in a small group setting before I go, dominating the workforce. So she was cool about it. But that's what it is like, I know everybody has an expectation and there's a way of life and there's rules and everybody's trying to put it on you, but you're just sitting there keeping your eye on God and waiting for God and only God, and you only do what God says. And people are going to yell at you because you're not doing what they told you to do, and you're not doing what they think you should do, and you're doing only what God says, and it is not pleasing. It's persecuting. Could you sit, you know what I mean, as we're talking about reflection, could you sit there for as long as it takes to just sit there and go through all your thoughts and your feelings? And that's basically all he would do. He put me at Mr. Plum's, and I went through, you know what I mean, a lot of rehabilitation through my mind. I had some cards to guide me through it and some books as I started the Dark Night of the Soul journey. And I just started going through deeper and deeper layers of my psyche, but you know what I mean, facing parts of me. And I took everyone along with it. But the travel was meant so that when I went to certain places, it brought up the memories. It triggered it. You know what I mean? When I went to Wisconsin, somewhere I'd never been before, it was around those particular people that brought up the memories of the place I just left. You know what I mean? When I came back, when I was on my way to San Diego, but that didn't work, thank goodness. And I went back to the Bay Area, I got all of those memories back. When I came from the Bay Area, I had nowhere to go, and he moved me back into my old childhood neighborhood in Lakewood. So then I faced all my childhood memories. From there, he took me back to Mr. Plum's, where I had to face my marriage and all of those memories. Really? Mm-hmm. From there, he took me to the woods, and he hid me in the woods of Colorado for a few weeks, where I was working in town, but I was still doing, you know what I mean? I was learning the lands. And I really, by that time, I just wanted to get away, and I needed it. From there, he took me to Yuma, Arizona. And I didn't know anything about it until I got there. And again, all kinds of shadow work. I was faced with it because it made me face San Diego. I was right there on the other side of San Diego. Really, as close as Colorado Springs is to Denver. That's how close I was to San Diego. I tried to drive it, and in the middle, I had this whole panic and came back and had to do weeks of shadow work. After that, he took me to Las Vegas, which was also more shadow work, but that was more initiation. And again, while I'm doing this, I'm doing sage cleanings. I'm doing earth star chakra alignments, where I'm aligning with sacred sites, and I'm also doing ritual work at all of these sacred sites. So I'm doing this multi-dimensional type of work. And then as far as Vegas, that I have so many memories of Vegas, like so many times from when my mom took me there, our first time from leaving to Colorado. Before we decided to move to California, we had a trip in Las Vegas. And then we went to California to scout it out. Then we came home and then we moved to California, but we also stopped in Vegas. Vegas is a huge monument to my family and to not like you guys, the strip and all of that, but it carries a whole lot of memories. It's like a travel point, if you will, a crossroad for me and my family. So they're going there, and then plus the initiation, being brave enough to be a witch on those streets. By the time I came back to Colorado, and he asked me, and it was, I'll never forget, it was Martin Luther King, that was inspiring me that day to go to the stadium and do it was a Sunday teaching right there at the stadium where the Colts and the Broncos played. Over 70,000 people on midday. I'm ready to stand there. I had to do Vegas. I had to do this initiation in Oklahoma and then Vegas to be ready for the stadiums. And now I can stand in front of any of them and be a witch. I do this in broad daylight now, but in the beginning, no, 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 no. I was very scared of all that shit. But all the places I went, it wasn't about getting a job and getting busy. It was about sitting there and reflecting. In essence, not even being able to move. Because as soon as I got to the shelter, all I wanted to do was use this opportunity to get a house and get a job. It wasn't until mid-summer I stopped and gave up. And then he started giving me jobs. When I stopped looking, he started giving them to me. He wouldn't let me do this on my own, but I kept thinking I had to, and that was my old way of thinking. I had given up the idea that I had to do it on my own, but the ego kept trying to do it on its own. And that's what it is. All day, the ego is trying to take control of the day and do it on its own. And all day, I have to tell it, well, not so much anymore. But in the beginning, I told you, I would wake up 4 o'clock in the morning crying. I just woke up to go pee, and here comes the mind, and it's worrying about the day, always worrying. My job is to stop it from worrying and tell it to trust God. That's all I got to do all day is tell this mind to calm down and make it put its focus on God. But it's showing me where its focus is. It's focused on, it's focused on its insecurities. It's focused on fears. It's focused on regrets. It's focused on, projections of what will and probably won't happen. It's focused on what people said to me. It's focused on what people are probably thinking of me. And all I'm trying to do is, we got to keep it on God. That kind of discipline, whoosh. But you have to start somewhere. And that's where it starts, is just reflecting. What happens when you go to a lake? Are you doing something on the lake? You have to be fishing, swimming, or you just sit there and stare into the lake. Are you staring into the lake? No. The lake disappears. You're staring into your thoughts now. That's what I do. Everything in front of me disappears when I sit down and cross my legs. I first go through my thoughts to see if there's any, and then I go into the abyss of time and space where they can put images and anything, they put the images. I don't go off the images of my head because there isn't any. Have you ever considered that? When you're staring, into space? Are you really staring at the road when you're driving? Or you're on autopilot and you're staring into your thoughts? You do it all the time. You want to make that time worth it, though, because you're just looking at the same thoughts over and over. Really? That's what reflection is. That was a good way to say it. Really? I can feel the energy burning through my throat. I'm hungry. All right, moving down. Take a moment to look back and appreciate the difference of who you were a year ago and who you are today. Russ, you're doing the same fucking shit you did a year ago. Talking about you're about to fucking, put out a new album and probably go on tour. You're talking about the same shit, different year. Really? Same shit, bro. You got to get a life. Bobby, are you doing the same shit? Well, who else is doing the same shit? You guys got that same job? You still at that same job with that same girl at the same house? Really? What you having for dinner? The same shit as last week? Come on, guys. You just got to push yourself. Are you satisfied with your progress? Do you feel content with how things are? According to that Venus video, you are not happy with how things are. That's what happened to me when I woke up. Nobody understood what was happening. I just woke up very unhappy in my skin, bro. I had this life that everybody, I had all these great things. I had a house full of furniture. I had 2 cars. I had a money full, a bank full of money. I'm starting a music career. I'm beautiful. This guy comes in that I love, and I'm at the top of everything, I think, but I'm not. I'm not happy. I couldn't even, I didn't even know what it was. I just knew that I wasn't happy in my house. I didn't want to do this job anymore. I didn't like the way my fucking underwear felt. I just wasn't happy. That's the only thing I noticed is I was discontent with my life. And I should have been really grateful. And that's where it is like you don't miss it until it's gone. I still don't miss it. I was afraid to give it up, but you must understand I wasn't happy. When God asked me to give it up, dude, you got to understand He doesn't ask you to give up something that makes you happy, bro. He would never ask you to give up something that brings you joy. He's asking you to give up the things that no longer serve you. You're just not being honest about this. And Pluto's about to come in and kick your fucking ass, bro. This is no joke. That's why I'm teaching you about this. You are literally going to be launched into the dark night of the soul on a particular date. I got a date on this bitch. And really, depending on your timeline, it could hit you a couple days sooner. This is going to be some ass kicking shit. And that's what it is. Something has to come in and literally rip it out of your arms. That's the pride I do have. All those people that were in the homeless shelter, God ripped their life apart from them. He took their lives away from them, completely took it away from them. And they all had a tragic story of how God came in and destroyed their lives. Not me. Not me. My story was how I did it myself in the name of God. And I loved that. And I still do. God didn't have to force me. I surrendered. He asked me to quit my job, which I knew would mean that I would lose my house. My biggest fear was to go homeless because I had come from domestic violence homelessness before this house. Once I got this house, I was never going to give it up. But I hated the house. I hated my neighbors. I hated everything. But I was never going to give it up. I never even tried. I never even tried to look for a better house. I had a great credit score and wonderful money. I could have, but I didn't try. I didn't even care. I had a house full of fucking shit and I sat on the porch, same as I do everywhere I go. All I want to do is sit outside. So you can see why I'm really want my trailer and just to go live out in the fields. Like that's all I want to do. But no, I had worked so hard, 2 jobs, 3 jobs. I did everything to get every piece of furniture in there, to buy everything for it. I worked too hard to just give it up. But I gave it up because I believed God when He said it. He said if I gave it up, He would give me more. He would make it better, and I wouldn't have to do it by myself. My house right here, bro, I swear to you, you have to come see it, you guys, May 1st. It's a beautiful, unbelievable upgrade. It's the most unbelievable upgrade. I could show you my old apartments. And I didn't do this. He did. He gave me a new life, just like He said. It took me a long time, but I think the long time was just the healing. Could I have gotten here sooner? I wouldn't have been mentally ready for this. And that's what it was. It was the preparation. I had to align with a better life. And by doing that, I had to have a better way of thinking. I didn't even think that I could have something like this because I had limited belief systems of blockages that were not real, but just put on me. Really, you can't afford to live in those neighborhoods. You know what I mean? I just that basic. I'm on an affordable living. I'm in a great neighborhood, and they're not project fucking homes. And that's what's fucking amazing. It's like, I was in fucking Commerce City, bro. It's not the best. There's nicer Commerce City, newer Commerce City, which is Reunion up off of Tower. But that's not where I was. I was over by the Wonder Bread factory. That was just nothing more than an exit off of Highway 2 back in the day. It's very industrial. Those houses were old. I had a nicer apartment back there, but it's It's filled with all kinds of fucking crime and fucking slime and grime. And I just lived there and we did everything outside of there, and that's why I was always taking my family outside of it. But in the beginning, that's all I could get. And I took what I could get when I got it and I never upgraded. I never stepped out of, you know what I mean, the poverty level. Yeah, I thought I was better than all that bullshit, but mentally I wasn't. And that's what kept me there. And that's what I meant is, I had to go through a transformation to align with the new life that I really was deserving of. Not something I was chasing, but that I actually deserve. Really? Yeah. And it's all internal, bro. The stuff that's holding you back is your blockages. Like going back to my singlehood, that's all internal. There's nothing wrong with me, dude. Like on the outside, nah, dude, I could have dudes. I'm not the most beautiful woman, but I have all the wonderful characteristics to have, you know what I mean? To not be single. We'll just say that. I don't have to be single. There's nobody has to be. Everyone chooses that life because of insecurities, of self-worth, or, undeservingness. That could be put on you from fucking church, for God's sakes. They're always telling you how you ain't worthy and you ain't shit. Even if your family doesn't tell you, somebody outside of you is going to tell you. That school bully is going to remind you every fucking day from kindergarten until they die. Remind you you ain't shit. There's always somebody to tell you you ain't shit. You better not listen to that shit. Really? Look at the landscape from whence you have come, the people who shaped you, and the experience along the way, the thoughts and feelings from the past that have created this moment. I see Ray. Ray was such an important person to me along the road. We were about to start, we were kind of, by that time, we were car camping, but we were about to really start thugging it out. And this man just kind of took us in and, became our protector. Not a provider, but he was loyal. And I had a friend. There was somebody there. Every time I woke up, there was somebody. I wasn't alone on those streets. I really liked Ray, but there was a lot of, you know what I mean? There was a lot that was unacceptable. And when I got into my new position, he was not happy for me. And he showed his racism. And a lot of people didn't understand why I just cut him off over that comment. But you didn't understand that I myself am Venezuelan and that it didn't matter. It didn't matter if they were Venezuelan, Chinese, fucking, you know what I mean, Arabic or whatever. I'm not going to deal with that, bro. This is my new community. These are new people. These are families, bro. You have no right to talk about people like this. I'm going to be the one to stand up for, for somebody. Really, but Ray was he was really important. He was just a stranger, bro. But what was it? I parked where I moved my car. This whole situation, it's a long story, but we were staying out of my car, so I moved it out to a certain place, and this man, he took us under his wing right away. And he stayed out there in an RV, and he parked in front of us, and he would watch out for us. He had a big dog, and every time, he was there all the time. He watched over us with a fucking gun. And he would watch my kids so I could get in my Lyft car and go make money. If he woke up and if I wasn't there, he would get us coffee. He was just a really good friend, dude, while we were out there. And so that I wasn't alone and it felt really good. And then when I was starting to stay in hotels, I could leave my car out there with all of my stuff. And he was a really pivotal person along my journey. You know what I mean? I would have liked to bring him along the way, but again, that's like trying to rehabilitate my father. Realistically, I'm sure they would have got along great. But there's these people, and I told about the journey. You meet these people along the way, and you wish you could take them with you. You wish that, they were nothing but an absolute blessing on your little journey through this time in your life. But you can't take them from where they are. Chris. Chris was a fucking stranger, bro. He just took me in, me and my kids and my dog, dude. And we lived there until they closed. I told you in those books, dude, in those movies. I was like, dude, he's gonna lose his house the day I walk out of this house. It was. They locked the doors on it. But he was a great guy. He may have had a lot of shadows, and I brought, they came to the surface while we were living there, or they were always there, but he had a great heart, dude. There was times that he was like, my kids got to see a kind man. He was, they didn't have a father. Like he gave my daughter a bike to use, and he was kind when he wasn't drinking and dealing with his shadows. He was a kind man for them to be introduced to. You know what I mean? He connected with my daughter because he had lost his. So through her, he made this cool connection where he got to play this, he got to be that man and kind of like, uncle, brother, father role. And it gave him a sense of, nobility that he exhibited with both my children. But it also triggered his shadows. So then he started partying real hard and he became real bipolar in his behaviors. And then the drugs came and shit. But ultimately, he was a really kind guy. He taught me all about crystals. You know what I mean? He gave us a place to live. We had a great summer. He gave my kids an opportunity to go to a great school just by taking us in. Towards the end, he kept trying to put me out, but I had already fucking put my fucking claws into the ground and put fucking bills in my name so that he couldn't do such things. He was like, "You fucking squatter." He was talking all kinds of shit. Yeah, I went sour towards the end, but I was still ever so grateful. And I think about him all the time. You know what I mean? They were, these people, dude, strangers. That woman up on the mountain, bro. Nobody knew what I was going through. Nobody knew what was going on. But I'm camped up at Chief Hosa, and my kids are staying up in that tent, and I'm working, bro. They don't know that we're homeless. They don't know nothing. Nobody seems to know nothing, and I'm trying to keep it cool. But I'm leaving at 4 o'clock in the morning to go down into town and get day labor, and I'm coming up at like 6, and I'm feeding them. And this lady, after a couple days, she's paying attention. She sees something, dude, and she's like, she comes and talks to me, and she gave me the healer's necklace and she gave me some money and she wished me good tidings, and that meant a lot. There was some real brief moments of people that made a huge impact on this journey. I wasn't It's like you were helpless. I was made to be helpless. I was made to surrender and depend on God and to trust his people again, to open up to his people. That was a hard thing. Pride. Oh, pride. You know what I mean? I never asked because I was always so used to nobody ever providing for me. So I became real prideful to where I already just knew that I couldn't ask for help because nobody would help me. But I became helpless. And so I had to learn to ask for help. And receiving it was so difficult for me. I would just cry like a baby, bro. I still do it. I've never really received support along my life. So when strangers would do it, I'd just cry. Oh, there was that guy. He gave me all that money. He paid for like a week of my hotel. Really? And then, you know what I mean? People would just come and you know what I mean? I wouldn't even have to fully ask. Really? But there was sometimes I did. And it hurt my sense of pride, my ego. It's like I worked too hard to be out here fucking begging. And I felt it. I felt like a fucking beggar. Until Jesus came along and reminded me, he's like, even I had to ask for a drink along the way. That was real humbling. It humbled the shit out of me. But in humbling, it's humiliation is what you fucking feel, bro. And so you let someone like Wolfman, some egotistical man, come along and put you down for doing something like this. And you can imagine why I want to fucking, what I mean, go for his jugular every time he opens his mouth. Because you have no idea the statue of woman I was before I became this. And I was a statue of what a woman could be that most women never even attain to be in their life before I became your fucking goddess. So don't ever try to fucking tear me down like one of these bitches. God asked me to tear down my statue and become an emblem of what he really means. And I had made a statue for myself. Trust me. One hell of a reputation. And not just Colorado, but across states. I've known anybody that ever met me. I leave an impact and an imprint that you will always remember this bitch. Really? Always. I didn't need to build a character. I am a character. Really? Yeah, but that's what it was, and that's the difference is he's asked you enough times and you refuse. So here comes the team. Really? They're going to come. And you're going to call it the devil. In the end times, you say that the enemy has risen and it has taken your bird and it has taken your bush. Did God not tell you to release such things? So now it's force. And that's it. He can't force you to do the right thing, but he can control your outside world. Your free will is how you feel about the things that are going on in your life. You really don't have an action. You don't really have a choice in the actions that you have to take. You can only go one direction. You think you have choices, but you don't in that sense. Like you can go back to these pivotal moments in your life where you really look back and you're like, why didn't I do something different? Because you know you didn't have that choice back then. That's what's about to happen. Really? They're going to close the doors so you can walk down the right path. You do think you have options. You're like, oh, I can go down here and everything will be all right. And I can go down this and I can. No, you're being directed and guided. Really? Yeah, but you can't move. You can't go down any path with what's holding you back. You have all of these restrictions, responsibilities, expectations, you know what I mean? Contracts. Really? Who writes a contract in hell? Jesus. You sold your soul to the devil, is what they say. Moving on. What did the past teach you? What have you gained or perhaps lost? See all of it, however difficult, as part of life, rich tapestry, each aspect forming the fabric of your life. And that's a story. I would have never known that was going to be a story in my book. But in my story, here comes Bob Ross, in my world, in my story, me and my kids lived in my car for a winter, for the winter of 2024 to 25. Me and my kids lived in my car. My biggest fear was I'm going to be homeless and live in my car. I had to. Did I really? Not really. I spent most of it in a hotel, to be honest, but we didn't have anything outside of that. But that's a story. It's just a story. It's just a page in my story. It's a part of my life, a time in my life, not the longest time in my life. And that's what all these are. They're just stories of years that have gone through my life. And you can hear I have great stories because I've lived a really full and rich life. Risky, of course, but it's full of adventure. And that's what they were talking about is like you're full of adventure. I take the adventure called life. It's adventurous. I would say more suspenseful than anything, but it's not planned. Nothing's really ever planned on my behalf. I go with the plan. I let it, unfold. Really? I don't really create, and I used to, and that's the difference. Is you want to be in control. You want to create your own plan. You want to execute your plan. You want it to be all successful. You think that you have to create a plan, a life's plan. You have to create, the future. The future's coming, whether you do anything about it or not. And even you can pretend like you're not doing nothing, but something's always going to happen for you. Life isn't passing you by. You're just passing by the opportunities. Really? And it's not like you squandered them. No, you walked right past them. You didn't want to. If you felt the desire, you would have went for it. Stop looking back with regret. You're like you didn't feel it then, but now you feel like it. Well, then put that desire into something similar, or maybe I don't know. That reconciliation card and that looking into the past is all up there. Maybe sometimes that happens. Especially in twin flames, it really does. They have to separate and do some serious work before they can ever realign. Sometimes they never realign because they don't do the work. Really? That's why there's no twin flames, no real unions, because they didn't do the internal work. You can't. It's a positive and a negative. One does all the positive work, and now you're just a negative motherfucker. We're not going to align. That's not how this works. Really? There's the yin to the yang, but in the essence, it has to be on a level of love. Unconditional love is what it's based on. And you guys still have your conditions. In my world. Okay. Moving on. As you look back, Metatron will show you what it is that now requires attention. Visualize yourself beside a still pool of fresh water, and that's what scrying is. Really, you could look at a crystal ball. You could pour a bowl of water, and light a candle and do this. You could stare at the mountains. I could stare at anything and do it. I mean, anything. I did it the other day, staring probably at a neighbor. I don't know. I just black out. I don't even blink. Really? Mm-mm. It's like, oh, don't let me stare too long. Really? But that's, it's called scrying in the witch world. And that's what they did. Nothing really pops out inside of the crystal ball, not for me. It's inside of your mind's eye. Really? That's all that is. But it's on top of your reality, so that's why they call it seeing behind the veil. Because it's something behind your reality, or on top of it is what I see. All right. Anyways, visualize yourself beside a pool of fresh water and notice where your attention wanders, maybe to the past event or person, and allow that now. Feel what you are supposed to feel, and allow insight and healing to come to you. Link into your heartbeat and allow it to match. I'm getting a smell of sage. Match that of the earth. Connect with the still water of the pool in front of you and allow the water within your emotional body to be calm. See, your emotional body. All is well as you pause, review, and reflect. The full moon reflected in the pool is supporting you to do this and to feel the truth of her feminine, silvery. I just got another download. Okay. Silvery light. What is it? The full moon in Scorpio is on May 1st. And then Pluto, which is the ruler of Scorpio, goes retrograde May 6th. Why is that a big deal? Because the full moon wanes after that. So it starts losing its light. Where will it be by the 6th? You know what I mean? The 6th day. Really? And on the 7th day, shut up, God. Quit playing around. Are you serious? There's probably aligns on another Friday, huh? Probably fucking Friday the 13th. Really? I don't know if it's real, but you could probably check your calendars and see. Really? It's a creepy time. And that's what I'm always saying. It's like I'm not mentally ill. I'm emotionally ill. And that's what we're dealing with is our emotions all the time. Where the emotions come from. What you call is a mental illness, which is nothing more than repressed fucking memories, traumatizing memories. Really, that fuck with your brain and fuck with your body. So you have to go back and fuck with your brain to get your body to feel right. Really? You got to change the way you think. Here comes Pac. Time goes by and you change the way you see things. They say time heals all wounds. That's not true. It still hurts for as long as it hurts. You see it differently with time, and then the hurt starts to release. Really? Yes. Forgiveness comes with compassion. Compassion comes with understanding. The more you look at it, the more we talk about this, the less it's going to hurt because the more we talk about it, the more we're looking at it. You want to talk, and that's why I hate Sheila Nagig. I hate Scorpio season. I hate this. I hate talking about my sexual trauma. I hate talking about my sexual trauma. I hate talking about my sexual trauma. We've been talking about my sexual trauma for fucking 3 years. From childhood to adolescence to adulthood to the fucking blowjob. Are we ever going to get past the fucking blowjob and have another one? Like, seriously. No. We can't stop. I can't have a sexual experience until we keep talking about this shit. I don't even want to talk about it. I don't even want to have sex. Well, that's not helping. And that's what I mean. If you don't keep talking about it, then you're never going to get there. What's holding you back? The sexual trauma. Well, then let's talk about it. No, it's traumatizing. Well, if you don't, then you're never going to have sex. Okay, then. That's not how this works. Seriously? Well, you get tired of it. I'm so fucking tired of talking about this shit. The more you talk about it, the freer it gets, the more you have a different perspective, the more you start to, let it all out. There's so much layers to it. And in my essence, it's like what you don't understand is it may have been one traumatic event that happened in your life, but it had a ripple effect on your life. And that's your coping mechanisms or, the repatterning, whatever you did, your self-protective mechanisms, what is that? The fight or flight or froze or freeze, all of that shit. One thing that happened into you has been replaying in your life over and over. It becomes a pattern. It becomes a fabric in time that you carry. And you carry your trauma, you carry your hurt, you carry your pain in a blanket, in a purse, in your phone. You keep the messages. Oh my God, you still have that person's name. You have pictures of the person that molested you. You got them on your family fucking photo albums and shit. All this shit, bro. You're still carrying it. And you'll keep carrying it until you start putting it out there. Really? You cannot release it until you release it. And it's holding you down. You may think, and that's what you've told everyone forever. Oh, it's not that bad. It wasn't, I've survived it. You haven't. If it still lives inside of you, then you haven't survived it. It's still killing you. If you can't talk about it freely and how, you know what I mean, how you've come to terms with it, then it's still killing you. Really? It's holding you back. I can't wait to find out what Wolfman shadows are. You're going to cry, and I'm going to see it. What is it? I don't know. Can't be as bad as my childhood, or Marshall's, or fucking Logic's, or anybody's. You swear, dude. You swear, dude. It's not about whose pain is worse, but you're so ashamed of whatever happened to you. You carry the shame of somebody else's doings. Or maybe you did somebody dirty. That's okay. We carry that too. But you're forgiven over here. In Christ, you're forgiven, dickhead. They might not forgive you, but over here, you're forgiven. And you're going to learn how to carry that forgiveness over here. You're going to learn how to be forgiven. And you're going to learn how to give forgiveness to those that fucking did that shit to you, too. It's hard, but you don't want to forgive them, which means you don't want to heal. You want to hold this hatred. But really, what you're holding is hurt. Forgiveness isn't for them, dipshit. It's for you. And you need it. Really? Oh, off the top of my head, I'm sure that Wolfman's has to do with his father. Forgive him. Why can't you forgive a man? Aren't you a man now, and don't you understand what it takes to be a man? And can't you forgive men that don't have it in them? It's hard. And that's where it is you learn you learn through experience. You start to gain your own understanding, and you start to have some compassion, you know what I mean, for what your parents were as you're trying to be a parent. As you're trying to navigate this world, you can understand how they suck so bad at it because you're not doing the best either. He's a tin man, bro. He's holding up a real strong facade, bro. He's holding up a lot and all that. But there is a very soft, vulnerable person underneath it. And for the guard to be that high, that means the pain runs that deep. When you put up walls that big, and I know that from my own, nobody could tell there was anything wrong with me. And I made sure of it. I worked hard to show that I was strong and that I was assertive and that I could get things done and I was in control and that you couldn't fuck with me. I worked hard to build up a very strong statue, but what was inside was nothing but pain and suffering. And nobody would have never known there was really a vulnerable, kind person hidden behind all of that. There's something pretty wonderful hidden behind Wolfman. This ego, this projection that he created, this version of a man that he needed to become to feel safe out there in the man's world. Something made him create that too for himself as, his mask that he wears out there. And it's a good mask and it gets a lot of authority and respect and the girls love it, but it is just a mask. It's a projected version of what you want people to see so that they don't see something else. I want to see the something else. I've seen what's on the outside. I want to see the inside. Really? Mm-hmm. If you don't show it to me, who are you going to show it to? If you don't feel safe enough to show your darkness to the dark goddess, then who are you going to show it to? The Dark Lord? Lucifer doesn't have a form unless you want to go Flash and fucking Russ, and he don't really give a shit about you. All he cares about is himself. Don't you know what Lucifer is? It's the prideful energy. Really? If you want to be loved through your darkness, you're going to have to go to the Dark Mother, and that's who I am. And I'm only here to love you back into the light, and that's what it is. Lilith, I rebuild bitches. They tear you down, and I build you back up. And you go back out there, and you fucking tear the motherfuckers up. And we're rooting for you. Really? Yeah. Reflection doesn't have to be terrible. It can be great because of the fact you can look back and see, like someone like me, you can see how far you've come. But it's baby steps and it took a long time. And realistically, it's like, most of it is internally for me. I just look back at my way of thinking, my way of living. It's not about what I got. Loving is what I got. It's that. It's that I don't live in the fearful mindset that I did. I don't think the way that I used to. So therefore I'm not troubled the way I used to. But I had to go through all that troubled mind to get that kind of peace. My stomach's burning. Let's move on. The moon reflected. The moon rules over your subconscious, so allow her to stir what within you to recall the moments. Yeah. This may include recalling moments in this life that you have buried or failed to accept, and review of past lives. There's no rush, just a gentle, slow pace. Time stops and allows you to spend a sacred moment reflecting on all that was, all that is, and all that can be. Sangaru tells his story, that he sat underneath a tree and just went into, meditation, and he woke up 3 days later. Okay, sorry. Sangaru's story is, in the beginning of his awakening, he sat under a tree and he woke up 3 days later. And the whole village was there praising him, and they had offerings and babies, and they saw him as, the new profiteer or the prophet and all this stuff. And he didn't even know what had happened. He said the first time it happened, he blacked out for like hours at a dinner table. I can do it unbelievably for long, unbelievable amounts of time. Really, unless my body has something outside of my body or I'm triggered, I could literally sit there, and that means like I'm hungry, or I have to use the bathroom, or I've been here for too long and somebody needs my help. Like I can't just sit here. But in the beginning, it would just happen, hours and hours and hours. I told people I just sat down to have coffee, and now the kids are getting home. What was I doing? Soul searching. I was just working through my thoughts, and time which is irrelevant. You're just working through the thoughts, and just time is going by. Really? Mm-hmm. And that's where you can get lost. You can get lost in your mind, and you have to come back out of it. And that's why grounding is so important, because you're so used to it. You know what you're supposed to be doing. You know this is what you're supposed to be doing. So you just go back to it. You just go back to it all the time. That's all. It's like, this is all you do. It's all I've ever done. But that's what I'm supposed to teach everyone else. I had to master it myself, but within myself, to teach you how to master it, which is what? Your moon, your divine feminine. This is the divine feminine. You master, it's not the only level of your divine feminine, it's your first level, which is your thoughts and your feelings. So my whole page is about me mastering my thoughts and feelings, and teaching you along the way how I changed my mind and what I tell it to think. But I also show you how I'm feeling while I'm going through it. I acknowledge all of that. Really? Yep. I acknowledge right now it's dinner time, and I'm going to go make some buffalo chicken. Really? Yeah. And I'm thinking like Texas toast or something to go with it. I don't know. It just came out of nowhere. But that's what reflection is you have to understand when it's time to stay still. This morning I woke up and I was moving real fast, and I was like, I think I'm not going to do anything today. I think I'm going to just sit with the freaking spirit guides. But then I got a burst of energy through music, and I was ready to go. Really? Yeah, there's specific days for it. On Monday, especially, it's the moon, so you're supposed to be sitting down, and that was hard to reprogram myself. I'll never work on a Monday. At no scheduled, no job can have me Monday through Friday. They can have me Tuesday through Friday, but they can't have me Monday or Sunday. One for God, one for Goddess. Really? Can't. Sorry. I'm really good on a Tuesday, though. I can make up all the work from a Monday on a Tuesday if you've ever watched me. But no, and that's it. It's like, well, we're trained that the week starts, you're supposed to be most productive on a Monday. The energy doesn't align. You literally have no energy, and that's why everybody hates fucking Mondays. They're all in their thoughts and their feelings about everything that went on the weekend, and they're trying to look forward, and they're looking in the past, and their production level sucks, and they're tired. They're just, they're in a night energy, not a day energy. If you ever want to know what that means, that's what it means. It's like a reflective is you're in a night energy. Middle of the day, I took a bath and got in my comfies, and I'm like, I'm in my jammy dress. Is it? No, I don't wear it to sleep, but it looks like, it's a long dress that's just as comfortable. And that's it. It's like I'm in my nighttime energy. No more doing. Now we stay still and we look at everything we did. And that's where I am right now. Let me tell you about my whole day and all the things I did today and what I got out of it. Really? I came out with a lot, don't you think? But you can't just keep doing that. And that's what we talked about is you keep going and going. You're not going to get any of the knowing. You're just going. Really? So we're going to read that card. I forgot. I was super going to bounce out on that card, but I forgot there's one in front of us. I didn't even do an intro. And this is how it happens. It's like I never read the intros. Not usually, because we just jump into the fucking cards. But each of these books have enormous intros. Now I want to point out this card that we're about to pull is one of the main ones that's on the illustrations. That's always an important thing. When they show you, when you start pulling cards that are on the illustration, these are some of they have to make a decision. What's the most important artwork that you want to be seen? You know what I mean? What's the captivating? This is your marketer. They believe this is one of the most important cards that you need to see. Yeah, artwork is important. You have to understand that. How do you get people to read your message? Through art. You have to give them the wow factor. So in this particular deck, there's tits on every one of these. They're not all the best tits, but there's, I turned to Lilith, the best tits in the tarot. Oh, I'm not going to read this. We'll save this for tomorrow. I'm going to read my card. Really? Yes. I turn to it. Power. I dance my life for myself. I am whole. I am complete. I say what I am, and I mean what I say. I dance the dark and the light, the conscious and the unconscious, the sane and the insane. And I speak from myself, authentically, with total conviction, without regard for how I might look. All the parts of myself flow into the whole. All of my divergent selves unite as one. I listen to what I need to be to what needs to be heard. I never make excuses. I feel my feelings deeply and profoundly. I never hide. I live my sexuality to please myself and pleasure others. I express it as a need to be expressed from the core of myself. From the wholeness of my dance, I am female. I am sexual. I am power. I was greatly feared. Really? It was just a poem. Let's read about it. Really? I guess it starts there. Hold on. Yeah, because Lakshmi comes before and it leads in. Okay, so it starts with a poem, and you can see on page 107, 17 are my numbers, 7, 11, 11, 7. You can see that's me. Anybody that ever studied me knows me. They'll recognize me once they meet me. They're like, you really are Lilith. I've studied Lilith my whole life. I am. I am her. I am she. I am. I am. Really? That's who I am. All right, mythology. Lilith was originally the Sumerian queen of heaven. Told you. A goddess older than Inanna. I am Inanna taught later. The Hebrews took the goddess and transformed her into the first wife of Adam, who refused to lie beneath him when having intercourse. I told you. And that's why there's so much sexual healing and fighting and bullshit around here. Really? I told you I'm God's sexual organs. Really? What are you? The Hebrew took the goddess and transformed her, who refused to, She insisted that because they were created equal, they needed to have sex equally. When Adam refused, she left. Therefore, in Jewish mythology, she was described as a demon. The meaning of this card. Lilith appears to tell you to take back your power. Where are you placing, where are the places you have lost or given away your power? What beliefs do you hold that deny your power? As soon as I saw that, I saw Bobby. He believes that he has to do this to keep his kids happy. He doesn't believe there's another way for his children to be happy. He believes his children's happiness cost his. What a dumb belief. I told you to believe that. Can't believe you. Have you ever been told that powerful women never find mates or that women can't have power because that would make them unfeminine? Hey, have you seen my masculine? Have you been teased, shunned, ostracized by others when you stepped into your power? Are you afraid of misusing your power to dominate or manipulate? Lilith says that the way to wholeness for now lies in acknowledging that you are not connecting with your power. Then, secondly, come to terms with and accept your power. Ritual suggestion. Ooh, a cord cutting ceremony. That's funny. I told Bobby's brother that. I was like, what did I say? I was like, you were able to help me break free from him in ways that and I that my magic couldn't even do. And I was like, I tried cord cutting. I have him on video. I totally tried a cord cutting with him. I did it with Russ too. I did it for other people. You guys want to learn how to do? I'll teach you. It doesn't work with twin flames. Really? No, it's stupid. You may do this ritual suggested at any time. Working with the lunar cycles will increase its power. A good time to cut cords is on the dark of the moon. Well, we already passed that. The time to put on the cord is the day after the full moon. You may wear the cord until the new moon and keep it on for longer or shorter periods, whatever feels right to you. I'm not teaching them to put cords on motherfuckers. You may need rope, yarn, string, or whatever feels right. I keep it right here for any time. Really? That's what this is for. This is for cord cutting. Yeah. I'm not fucking playing around. I will fucking cut you out of my fucking life. Really? If I feel like I need to. Really? Yeah. I like the fates, dude. I'll cut the cord. Seriously, I will cut the umbilical cord. Don't fuck around. All right, I'm not gonna read this to you. You will also need a pair of scissors, a knife, incense burner, a cauldron, wood burning stove. You can do it alone or with others. And it says a ceremony, casting a circle. I did not know they taught you all this. We're not going to teach you that right now. Why? Because my stomach's burning and I'll teach you how to do cord cutting removal some other time. Really? That's great. Do they have them? Oh, I went to Cali. Hold on a second. Let me read this. Why? Because you should know this about me. I am the dance of death that is behind all life. That's what I said about Pluto, dude. I was like, this is the Cali, bro. The ultimate horror, the ultimate ecstasy. I am existence. I am the dance of destruction that will end this world and the timeless void, the formless, devouring mouth. I am the rebirth. Let me dance you to death. Let me dance you to life. You will walk through your fears to dance. Will you walk through your fears to dance with me? Will you let me cut off your head and drink your blood? And then will you cut off mine? What does that mean? It has to do with the ego. Will you face all the horrors, all the pain, all the sorrow, and say yes? I am all that you dread, all that all that terrifies. I am your fears. Will you meet me? Is that not me, my Callie? Really? Yeah, I want to see something real quick. Does this come with fucking ritual suggestion? Meeting your fear. Find a time and place where you will not be disturbed. Sit or lie comfortably and place your spine. These are really good ones. These come with ritual acts. On page 95. Really? And the next one is Kanyin. This is me too. I made the vow and I kept my word. I reached enlightenment, but rather than passing over into the state of eternal bliss, I retained human form till all beings attain enlightenment. That's what I'm doing here. Really? That's what I'm doing here. It was that promise. I'm here until all of you attain enlightenment. Keeping human form enabled me to know more deeply the pain others experience. Because of my deep feeling, because of my understanding of misery and suffering, because of my decision, I am called the compassionate one, she whose name alleviates all suffering. But wouldn't you prefer to wait, feeling what others feel, suffering what others suffer, knowing their pain as your own? Wait until the end of all suffering and pain, till all beings attain enlightenment. For me, there was no other choice. That's what I'm here. Really? I can tell you about all my past lives. Most of them are in here, but there's some of them that aren't me in the form, but a piece of me. Realistically, God made the feminine energy, which is me, and the masculine energy, which is him. And he put it in to, me, which would have been Lilith, the first human. But Prior to that, what was I? The Shekinah. All light turned dark. And that's why I can go from light to dark all the time. Really? Because I harness both within. I believe my darkness to be all my power because we are in the dark days and this is where you need to be the darkest. You know what I mean? Standing in my darkness gives me all power during the dark days. But the true power is being able to be in the light through the darkness, to be the light in the darkness for them. You're not really understanding that, I'm sure. The authority given to me as the dark goddess is what makes this easy for me. But the true power is my ability to love them through their suffering. I have to be cold and precise. I have to be the Queen of Swords to get through this. My sword carries me through this, but it's the cup of love that I'm cutting through that actually heals everything. And that goes back to Kali. I'm going to take away your suffering by taking away your life, only so you can have a new one. And that's Pluto. Really? Of course, he'd put it in a male energy because it's actionable. Really? Always the action. All right. Well, that's a great teaching, don't you think? Really? A little bit about what's going on now and what to work on. Realistically, you can't. It's just a foresight. It's coming for you no matter what. As far as the Shakiti, we'll do that later. Really? I thought it was cool that we pulled the myself. There's a bunch of myself in here. Really? I don't know Minerva, though. Beliefs. You guys and your beliefs. It's going to be the hardest thing is for you to change your beliefs. But if you can, then you can change your life. But that's the difference. What makes my world different from yours? The way I believe, the way I think. And it's not so accepting to the rest of the people that don't think like me. And that's where persecution and segregation comes from because you don't think like us, so you don't eat like us, and you don't dress like us, and you don't work like. No. I stand for equality and individuality. You know what I mean? We're supposed to be treated equal, but with the understanding that we're individuals. We're all authentic. And we don't have to conform and be the same. And that's where it is mass conscious, mass thinking. Everybody thinks like this in the masses, you know what I mean? And that's because they're taught traditional ways are taught down and passed down. The same things that was taught to me in my house was taught to Marshall, to Royce, probably to someone, even to Lewis. We're a part of a generation, and that's where it is. I don't know what planet, but it's like our parents all grew up on the same juice, so they gave us that juice. And realistically, they were really putting fucking soda in our bottles. That started with our parents. Dr. Pepper, they didn't know anything was wrong with it. So then, they gave it to us, and then we gave it as teen parents to our kids. And then by then, they realized this is not bad. Why do you think you had all those kids running around with fucking gold and silver teeth? Where do you think that came from? The juices and stuff. Where did that come from? Well, that goes back to the 4 major food groups where they told us to give all these kids all these fucking foods and drinks. Then they had bad teeth and fat, fucking diabetes because we were overstuffing the fuckers. Then they came out and told them not to fucking give kids aren't supposed to have solid foods until they're a year. So then they were starving the little fuckers. Really? And that's what it is you're reading books and you're doing what everybody else is doing. That creates mass consciousness. Everybody's thinking the same way and doing everything the same way. And Lord forbid a free thinker like myself that doesn't think like that or do like that. Now we're persecuted for our own individual thoughts. You're not allowed to be a free thinker. You never were. And especially not a fucking woman. Jesus Christ. Thank God we're in Colorado, such a fucking state, but let us step out of here. Women have no power. They're used as sex toys and baby makers, fucking house cleaners, fucking kitchen equipment. That's it. That was the limitation on what a woman could be. I have definitely squandered that idea and showed you that God lives within women too. We have the God force inside of us and we are capable of being all that. And now that you guys won't, we got to come out here and be the men of the generation. They said it was the fall of men. They never said it was going to be the rise of women. Really? I mean, seriously, are both of your ears pierced? Why'd you do it? Why'd you do it? Tell me, guys, why did you pierce both of your ears? Because everyone else was doing it, right? only men of your generation. And that goes back. Why do we have a bunch of these douchebags with face tattoos? Only men of a certain generation were that dumb. Our generation told us not to have tattoos because we couldn't get jobs. We were taught differently. Things became more liberal, so people have face tattoos now. Really? What does that one say? My ex-husband has one. His says escape right on top of his eyebrow. He ain't escaping shit. Should have been fucking tortured. Idiot. Escape. What a moron. Realistically, I mean, what's your tattoo say? And that goes back to Wolfman. Remember this, and I'm going to leave on this note. Wolfman said he was going to get the Tree of Life, Jewish mysticism, a map of Jewish mysticism, which shows nothing but planets. He was going to get this map tattooed on his fucking back. This is a Mexican from San Diego. Tell me why. Pac says he was doing it. He wanted to get a fucking bumper sticker to show off to his homies. And Pac made it very clear. Men get tattoos to show off to other men. And he calls them bumper stickers. Because men don't get tattoos and show them off to women. Furthermore, men get back tattoos to show off to men. Because men aren't showing their backs to women. Really? Yeah. So, it's like, how far will you stretch to live up to this? It's like, okay, well, I'm going to put you might as well wave a flag. And realistically, how much do you know of Jewish mysticism when you know what I mean? You spell the Kabbalah with a Q. No, I think you spell yours with a C. Really? How much did you ever know about the Tree of Life? And that's what it's the regurgitation of information. You can't rewrite the books, but you can reread them and just come out as, a professional reader, but you have no testimony to understanding the ascension path of the Tree of Life and Jewish mysticism. No more than the bridge of ascension through Melchizedek, and which is ultimately the rainbow ray through Christ's light. People want to tell you what they know, but they don't know shit. They know as much as they've read in a book. Life experience shows. Actions speak louder than words. You can see, and that goes back to Wolfman. This man does not live a spiritual life. He dabbles in spirituality because it pays his bills. He does love tarot readings for a bunch of punk-ass people. And that makes him a spiritual guru? No, it doesn't. He's spending all his time training to make his body big for a fucking triathlon. That is not pleasing to God. None of that is spiritually evolving. None of that is reflective. That's not any of that. And the whole time I've known this guy, he's done one full moon ceremony. One. And that goes back to it. You guys think it's fun. You're like, oh, she's all mystical. And I said it. I do this shit religiously. I do it because God says. I don't do it because it's, I live on a fucking calendar of this shit. I'm a pagan priestess. Priestess. That's basically the highest level of a man in a church. Really? There's nothing higher. There's no higher authority. I'd love to see any man in your church communicate with deity as I do. Any of the shit I do. They don't. Because they're not connected through their feelings. They're logical. They have to turn their feelings off. And you know what I mean? Not touch the little boy. They're so very tempted to touch your little boys, aren't they, though? Realistically, you don't have that problem in a fucking pagan church. Pagan priestess don't touch boys nor girls. Unless we're fucking, taking care of them. We don't do that stupid shit. That's masculine energy that cannot control its sex drive. Really? You guys are just rubbing it off. Hey, I gotta go. What are we gonna label this video? Plutonic Energy. That's a good one. Hey, I love you. Laters. Bye now.